future. And some people say, oh, you can't take it with you. Well, yeah, you can't, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't prepare.
Yeah, right.
Because
even in the preparation, there's a generation behind you, right?
Exactly.
Even if you don't have kids, or there's something that you can support that'll strengthen.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Deep MCs, the podcast that seeks to push meaningful conversation to a whole new level. Whether it's for your entertainment or your personal growth, we appreciate you being here today. And now, on to the show. What's going on, man?
Hey, man.
What's going on? We're here for another week.
Yes, sir.
New week, new music, right? Hopefully everybody appreciates the elevator tunes that we have for them this evening.
Yeah, you see this evening.
Yes, this evening. For the ladies, here 9 to 10. Or is it midnight? 7 to 12.
Yeah, don't mess it up. It's okay.
I don't know what it is. Anyway, man, what are we getting into today?
Man, we are continuing to talk about money.
Money.
Yeah. And we want to come at it from a different angle today, man. There was a big a first that has happened again, right?
Another first.
And I forgot his name, dang. But nevertheless, he bought the Fuddruckers franchise.
Yes, a Houston, well, they say Houston favorite, but it's funny because if it was really a favorite, would it have gone the direction that it did?
Belly up.
Belly up.
Yeah.
I wasn't a real Fuddruckers fan anyway. I think I've been there twice.
Man, I had been here probably 15 years before I even walked in. And it was the only time I did it is because it was close to my office. And I was like, well, let me go ahead and try it.
And see how it is.
Let me see how it is. But I wasn't completely blown away by it.
No, not at all. And I don't think it would do, honestly, I don't think it would do well in COVID times anyway, because all your toppings was just out. Right? Like you had that whole time.
Yeah, right. And you go pick what you
whatever
want
the hell you want.
Yeah,
people
anything buffet style just didn't
thumbing through the
out.
lettuce and shuffling the tomatoes and everything else is terrible idea.
Yeah.
But yeah, so anyway, the guy buys Fuddruckers.
Yes.
Right? And did we say his ethnicity?
Yeah, he's black, African American. Whichever one you want to use, he's that. That's why it was a first, right?
Yes. That is why it was the first, and it's just interesting, man. Like, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, and I wish. God, why is it so hard to get rich people to come on your show? I wish I could get him on because that's another one I want to kind of see. Is this something that he has done solely? Is this something that he has done? He's the face of it.
He's the face of it, right? Right.
But we don't know if this is like one of those situations where it's just him and he's going to build this Fuddruckers empire, or is there a whole nother meaning and level behind it to where, it's going to go a different direction, or is this just going to be Houston's big next money laundering scheme? Because we know Fuddruckers don't make no damn money, right? But what is the business aspect behind that? And that's what makes me think is that I want to be happy for him, but it's hard for me to be, not because I'm jealous, just because it's the scrap situation, which we'll get into, but at the same time, like, what drives this man? He has a little bit of money. Okay. Yay. I feel because he has already been Fuddruckers, I believe, was under the Luby's.
Yeah, it's part of Luby's.
Which Luby's also struggling. So significantly, I wonder. He was a big franchisor for that area. Did they? And by they, I mean Caucasians. I'm assuming Caucasians run Luby's because Luby's is nasty cafeteria food. Sorry, guys, not all of you can cook, but. Did they package this to him as like, oh, you're gonna do?
Hey, here's the great thing for you. Let me wrap it up. And great. That, and without us knowing the story, right? We could come up with some great ideas.
Yes.
About what this looks like.
Yes.
But it feels like They wrapped it all up in this beautiful thing, this beautiful box, put a nice bow on it. And when you open it up, it's just crap on the inside.
Just
man.
a big pile of shit. and I feel like that's what he got. You know, yeah. I don't know. I it's so hard to say, right? Because for me, and I'm not diehard. Whatever. I'm not full-blooded Hostonian, right? I'm an implant. So,
me too. Yeah.
And a lot of people that have lived here, they're very passionate about their Houston things. Fuddruckers sucks.
Well, did Fuddruckers start here?
I believe it did.
Okay.
I believe it was
right.
a Houston burger chain that they either swallowed up or what. This is why we need a Jamie. We need a Jamie that can look this stuff up while we're talking.
We need the fact finder.
Right, we need the fact finder. But at the end of the day, I believe it was a Houston brand that they kind of just grew.
Got
right?
it.
But that being said, the burgers sucked, and I mean, they weren't as good as Whataburger, in my opinion. Neither here nor there. They weren't making money. They were struggling long before Luby's. As far as we know, long before COVID, long before Luby's. You know, the whole situation. And now we have the great black hope that's gonna bring back burgers to the world via Fuddruckers. But the investment, yeah, I'm sure maybe it was cheap. Maybe it's a thing of the property is going to be worth more than the company. I don't know.
Yeah.
But to me, it doesn't make smart business sense to pick something up that's already struggling, already failing, regardless of the price. Like a larger company is already saying they're not going to throw any more money at this situation. Like why would you pick that up unless you're planning to ride the hype train?
Yeah.
You know, I
mean,
know.
but you know what, man, it's my thought process and kind of thinking through it, right? There's so many. I've seen McDonald's, and McDonald's still strives, even though it's had to change its kind of game plan, you know, over the years.
Right.
If I had my choice between investing in a McDonald's franchise, a Burger King franchise, and a Fuddruckers franchise, it would be hands down McDonald's, right? You know what I'm saying? Because BK is struggling too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
that flame broiled goodness ain't
it's
too
just
good
not there anymore,
no.
right? And so when we look at fast food across the board, unless he has some real significant kind of shift in what that's their business plan looks like, you know, he may have invested himself into another hole.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, is this a money laundering thing for him? So he could just. But I wonder, because it doesn't make sense, right? Because what Fuddruckers was, and for people that don't know, right? Basically, it's supposed to be, I don't know, almost gourmet burger ish. But you would go to the counter, you would order your burger, whatever it was. The only real exotic burger they had, I think, was like the buffalo patty.
Yeah, they had bison or
something like that.
Right.
And you'd pay for your burger, you'd pick up your dry burnt burger on a bun, and then walk it over to this
the condiment station.
The condiment station.
And your vegetables.
Exactly, your topping station, which I would just skip. Right, all your salads and your tomatoes that had the flies on it and everything, relish.
Man, you just destroyed me, man. Which one did you go to? Was it next to the rodeo?
The
like
one
which
right over here by Memorial, right there. That Fuddruckers right there. It was the only one I ever been to. It was terrible. There was only I don't know if you remember Randy. I went with Randy.
Okay.
Right, and that was way back when. It was god awful. Yeah, we went because they had the bison burger.
I got you. You wanted to try
meat,
that,
right?
Yeah.
We ended up making our place I can't remember, Sammy's Wild Game Grill, which is also closed down because they had camel burgers over there. So we went there and said, neither here nor there. But anyway, you go to your shitty condiment station and then you would sit down and eat your burger. Like, from a business plan, right? Like that is what made Fuddruckers in a way unique, right? Because you could order something your way, but you didn't get, like at McDonald's or whatever, but you don't get to assemble.
Yeah.
So the Fuddruckers business plan, motto, whatever it was basically, that was the real Burger King. You could really have it your way, right?
Yeah,
as much topping as you want, as little as you wanted, whatever. I can't see them trying to change it. Like if you change it, you're not gonna make it. You're gonna make it like everything else, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, because if you think about what is it, Beck's Prime? You've been to Beck's Prime, right?
Yeah, of course.
Same thing, right?
So that I feel like is, if you're talking about the upper echelon of burgers, right? If you're talking about a higher end experience, I think you get it from Beck's Prime, right? You have the ahi tuna, right? And you have, you know, now it's expensive. Yeah. It's just
shit, man. The last time I went there, I think it was like $50.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna spend some money for it, right?
It's Olive Garden prices. And I get free breadsticks and salad there.
Stupid, man. We're just all over the place.
Yes. Just sidetrack. Anyway. Upper echelon, Beck's Prime.
Yeah.
Good burger. But yeah, going back to this guy, like, it's frustrating, and I think what kind of made it a little frustrating for me as well is the fact that when they were selling the article, when I sent the article to you, they talked about it. They talked about it, because he's like the first black anything, man, woman, tranny, whatever you want to be, that had a national burger chain.
Yeah, right.
And it's frustrating, because it shows how far we haven't come, right? But I think I guess I shouldn't be frustrated, because the conversation has always been around, right? At one point there was no black professional team owners, or whatever. So there's always going to be the first of something. But the fact that fast food, and especially black folks, consume a crap ton of fast food just for other reasons, money, finances, whatever. It's a money episode, so let's be real, we're broke. But the fact that it's taken this long to get a national chain owned by an African American or a black person is kind of ridiculous. But then also it's sad, because it's like, this is you couldn't have picked a shittier chain. I mean, the only thing worse than that is, I guess, maybe if you would have bought into Toys R Us before they closed, right? I mean,
so that, when it comes down to it, man, 2021, here we are, 2021, and we're still making some huge firsts as a community. And I think that's the part that really kind of struck me. I hope and I pray that he's successful, right? When all is said and done, I hope and pray that he's successful, and whatever he comes up with, I'm gonna root him on,
unless he's laundering money and smuggling people.
But we won't know that until that comes out. So in the meantime, whatever's going on with Fuddruckers and him purchasing that business, that flailing business, I hope he has a significant understanding about what the return is, what he's going to put into it, and that he's going to be successful on the back end. But for me, it perpetuates another idea that I think we've fallen so much into, is if you had that kind of money, why not just build your own?
Exactly.
For me, if you have that kind of money, why not, instead of coming on the backside of something that was destroyed, because literally it was destroyed, right? It's in shambles at this point, and you're saving somebody else, from the complete, just full out destruction of it. But at the end of the day, why not create your own and not have to be the first in somebody else's group?
Exactly. The first last in that group.
Yeah. Right.
And it's a good question. And I guess, excuse me, I almost burped on the mic. That'd been gross. It is a good question to kind of ask and I wish I could ask him to see why and what was his thought process behind it. And we're assuming that he's doing everything because it's an up and up situation. And that being said, we're also assuming what we think happened. And I think that part of it was that it was packaged to him as being a great bargain, or is it this black folks love a deal, and he's got a little bit, you can pick up on, at the end of the day, real estate, he's getting real estate for it.
Of course.
I mean, that could be a smart move in the future. Maybe that's his overall game plan. He doesn't want to do anything with Fuddruckers, we don't really know, but it just sucks that I can't tell him what to do with his money. It's his money, but it sucks that he didn't put that money into something for himself. You wanted to be you wanted to be that guy, but why not be that guy on your own? Like, why are you going to piggyback off?
And that's the only thing, man. And because you said something there, and a light bulb went off. Like, I'm hoping that the overall idea is that, yes, now I have all of this real estate. I have all of these established locations, right? In great areas at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And if I take those and I create a brand new brand, you know, something brand new, something that focuses on who I am as a businessman, because this didn't work. So why piggyback on that? Let's find out something else. You have the equipment, you have the buildings, you have the parking, you already have the zoning for the restaurants, right? Let's take that and hopefully build a new brand of wealth that then focuses on who you are as a brand, as opposed to piggybacking on somebody else's trash, right?
Exactly. And that I would love to see that happen, just for the simple fact. I mean, if you think about, like you said, locations, Fuddruckers locations here in Houston, think about where they are, man.
Yeah,
like
they're in great places.
They're amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing places, you know, to be able to see something come up and become a national thing, because now you are, I mean, well, national just means you're in another state, not just one state,
right,
but,
right.
you know, to become a national brand of your own unique thing from an African-American person, that would just...
Because I want us to disconnect, man, from this idea of us having to be the first in somebody else's group.
Right.
When we're creative enough, we have enough ingenuity, we have enough drive. We've created a lot of stuff that people don't even know about, right? And even when it comes down to, you know, business and all of those other kind of things, there was a time before integration where we had to be those people, and we had to develop these businesses, and we were great at it.
Right.
And so I just want to make sure, my desire, my personal desire, is that we can take, you know, these opportunities and build ourselves back up to a place where we're not depending on somebody else's authorization.
I would agree with that 100%. And I'm kind of curious now, though, because I feel like it's also kind of shifting when you say that. And when we talk about like building and being I'm about to mess it up. When we talk about building a business or growing something or whatever, it's actually, you know, it's all races, and it's everybody, and everybody was a lot more independent. And I think really the only people that probably transitioned well from where they were to where they are here is probably the Asian community.
Yes.
You know, they've transitioned well. They took everything that they were doing there, and then they brought it here, and they have their little areas, whatever. The Hispanic community, not so much. I mean, their restaurants pop up here and there, but there isn't really a Hispanic town, Spanish town.
I got
you know, there isn't a black town, whatever. Like, we've dropped the ball in that area, everybody, you know, and I would love to see everybody succeed and build their own little piece, because at the end of the day, right, America is supposed to be able to come here, be what you want, build your dream, whatever. But I also question, and I'm wondering if it's kind of a watering down as the process goes on, to make things less about being unique and more about the profit and repeatability of things. Because originally, you know, you would come here, and I think what would happen is, just because of the way that history has happened, you know, the Caucasians owned the majority of the wealth, and they had the good life, you know, over blacks, Asians, Hispanics, everybody, right? So it was, I think that we all looked as that being the life, because that was what controlled the money. So that's what we wanted, because we wanted to be able to be the one that controlled the money. And so we tried to replicate those things, if you will.
Man, I heard a story, right? It was a story, and it was about about Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma, right? But it was the initial, how did they get there? Right. And it was the story about the American Indians, right? And the part of it that struck me was the American Indians were being pushed out of their land.
Right.
Okay. They were being pushed out of their land, but when they were being pushed out of their land, they also had African American slaves. They also had African slaves.
Right.
Because they thought that what the European was doing was what they needed to do.
Yeah.
Right? In order to be successful.
Right.
And so they've never had slaves before. They've never done this before. Now they see the Europeans coming over with African slaves. Now that's what we need to do to be successful. And so they began to even transition out of their own culture, out of their own, even though they were being pushed out of their own spaces, they still had slaves because they thought that's what was necessary.
Right.
And I think we do that. We still do that today. We look to somebody else to define for us what is necessary. And that part of it is my desire. Because I don't know that we'll change the world, right?
Right.
But maybe I can change my son's perspective, you know? And that's what I'm hoping that we can get to is be you. And take what you do well and push that, right? And you don't have to take on anybody else's look or anybody else's desire because you've been doing it
And
the way you did it.
You've been doing it. But that's the thing is I think that, and that's kind of like what I was saying. I think we've lost that in a way, and we don't know how to get that back. And it's funny because like just when we talk about like look, a while back, it's been a minute, but I went out with Val. We had gone somewhere a while back. I can't remember the name of the restaurant, but it was a black restaurant, right? Which black people give terrible customer service.
But you know what? Okay, let me say this,
bro.
Let me say this though, because you know, of course, this came up right with the turkey leg hut, right? And we're talking about dress code, and we're talking about all these kind of things. You know what? There's something about, and I could get flack for this, and I don't care. You can completely disagree. It's something about dating a black woman. It's something about going to a black restaurant that's part of who we are. It's part of our DNA, right? And it's part of going into that restaurant and knowing that it may be a little slow. Or somebody may have an attitude when they come up to the table and be popping gum or something. But that's our vernacular though.
Oh God.
Can we be okay with? And that's just my thing, man.
No, you can't
Why not?
be okay with that because at the end, because the problem is
That's not all of them, though.
It's not. But it seems to be the majority, and that's what pisses me off. But here's the thing. This is what makes me mad. This is what makes me mad about it. It's not the fact that you come to the table with an attitude. Which, by the way, I went to Turkey Leg Hut with Val way back, like when they very first started.
Yeah.
Service, fucking terrible. Like if you would have asked me back then, are these people gonna make it? I would have said hell no, because what we got was terrible. It was terrible.
But now people come in droves.
People come in droves, and it's a great. I've never personally never been back. I probably should go back and give them a second chance because people do love it. I know they are doing great things down there, and I push everybody to go try it out. I mean, rave reviews.
Yeah.
And people have to work the kinks out, and I get it. But what I had, horrible experience.
Okay.
Horrible experience.
But does that tie into that same idea about money, right? Because we don't know what type of loan or what type of financing they were able to secure,
right?
Because they are a black business with no experience in selling turkey legs.
No, it wasn't that. Let me tell you what it was for me. It was the people, man.
But I'm saying
it was.
If you have more money, you can hire.
True. You can, but you can also train.
I got you.
And that was what bothered me.
Okay.
And the thing about it, and guess what? And this is, God, now we're tearing apart, beating up black people. And we're supposed to be black.
I don't know that we're doing that.
But I am, because it pisses me off. But what makes me mad is that for a lot of the times when you interact with these situations, these people, if it's those people, hypothetically, if we were to put the shoe on the other foot, if that person that walked to my table, popping the gum, having a bad day, with the attitude, if that same person was to go to a restaurant and get that service, they would have a fit. They would have a fit. But that's how they treat people. And that's what drives me nuts about it more than anything, because I see how I get treated from them for whatever the situation, or how they treat other people. But if they were treated that same way, if they went to a restaurant and was like, and sit down, and they're expecting to give their good hard-earned money because they work so hard and they do this and they hustle and they do whatever, and they get an attitude from the moment they woke up and what do you want? Like they're being inconvenient, they're gonna throw a fit. Mm-hmm. They're gonna throw a fit. Mm-hmm. So why do you treat people like that? Why is it okay for you to be that way, but it's not okay for you to be treated that way when you go out? Right? It's because they're at work, so they're pissed off because they have to work, and they're projecting that on their people. But when they're off and they want to hey and have fun and whatever.
But do we project that on ourselves? Because, and I say this, right? We went to Willie G's for Father's Day.
Right.
Right? And there was a mix of everybody in there, right? And there was this white gentleman who was going off.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you know.
Yeah, you're gonna have those.
You know, like everybody was just like, dang, you know, made the whole thing uncomfortable, right? He ended up walking out, like leaving. Right? Because he had to wait in line. Right. Like everybody else. Because it's Father's Day, which was surprising. Yeah, first of all, there was a line, there was a way to Father's Day.
He's entitled, okay?
Whatever that was.
Skipping the line.
So he gets a pass.
Oh no, you don't get a pass from me.
Some people give him a pass.
Of course they do.
Right? But if we come, then we're loud and rambunctious and we're threatening. Where he was just like going, I mean, literally the girl.
Full wrong.
Yeah. You know, the girl, the hostess was like, she walked away so that the young black girl, so that she wouldn't have to go off. She walked away, right? Because she's just trying to keep her job.
Right.
But he was just really crazy. The manager came out, talked to him real nice. He still walked out and left, right? So there's a perception there that I think we hold. Sometimes we hold that too, because he was a jerk.
For sure. No, and I mean, I don't mean like, I guess I mean like more is specific to that person.
That person going from there to there.
Yeah,
I got you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because that's what made the experience so
but
bad.
Is that part of the experience? And that's what I was going back to, right?
No.
When you go to Mama's kitchen, right? And is that part of the experience, the African American? Like, can we embrace that?
I think that but there's a difference for me, right? So, and I'll give a perfect example, and this is probably going to be, anyway, I hate Florida.
We're not talking about money, by the way.
We're not talking about money. This is gone all the way off the right side. We're going to circle it.
We started with Fuddruckers.
We're going to
Okay, let's go.
We're going to circle this back around to money and to Fuddruckers. I promise you guys we're going to get there, but we have to go down this road. I hate Florida. I hate it. I talk about how much I hate Florida. Yeah. I can't stand Florida. I wish Florida would break off into the ocean and never come back. But there was a barbecue spot in St. Petersburg, Florida, and I forget the name of it. I think it was called Big Tim's or something like that. I can't remember the name of it. Whatever it was, it had been there for a while. Best damn barbecue chicken on the planet, hands down. Best ribs, hands down. I don't care what anybody says. Best food ever. And it was in the middle, like it was in the middle of the hood. Mm-hmm. Building dirty as all get out, mm-hmm. partially because, they smoke in there and everything else and swinging doors, everybody in there was ratchet, but in a nice way.
A nice ratchet,
okay. Right? Like it was like and it was run by the guy. I guess he had gotten sick and was in the hospital or whatever. He had to step out of the business. So then the wife was running, an older lady, sweet, but there wasn't gonna be no shit. You wanna come in there, and as soon as you come into that establishment, right? They're still gonna be hood. They still had the swag. They still talked whatever. But you don't bring no bullshit in there.
I got you.
And if you do, well, you take your ass right on outside, and they're gonna put you out real ghetto, but they're gonna come back and it's gonna be business as usual. And I would frequent that place because it was love. They took care of you. Everything about the black experience was there. The tables was nasty. The windows would, you know what I'm saying?
No, but you making the black experience sound like it's trash, though.
But when you smoke inside, everything's covered in the, you know what I'm saying? It's dirty. It is. It's not white tablecloths, whatever. You're smoking in the pit. The smoke's coming inside. You're gonna have smoke. It is what it is. You know,
do we perpetuate that?
The service idea? The service window was cut out with a, but it was one of those things that never had to change. It never had. It never
that was
who
who
it
was.
Started from nothing.
That was the.
It was the most beautiful place, man.
Because I've seen places like that.
It's the most beautiful place.
Cleaned it up and lost something.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They moved.
You can't.
They
clean
moved
it
down
up.
the street, or they moved across town.
It's not the
to
same.
the better place. You know, like I'm scared. I hadn't been to Frenchie's since they moved. Right? Is it gonna be the same?
No, it's not.
Is it gonna be the same now that you got the brand new building and you know what I'm saying?
No.
Because you walk in Frenchie's, what size you want? You know
exactly.
We got rice. We ain't got no more. You know, it's just. But you know that's what you're getting, and you know you're about to get some bomb chicken.
You are, but that's what I like because you can be yourself and still be professional, man. Like,
I got you. Yeah.
I don't like going to a place. I see you. I know you're my waiter. I see you right there on your phone.
So there's differences. I get that. I get that.
I can't stand that.
But you know, I like kind of banter, right? And so if you come to my table and you're serving, it's just one of them days. I'm going to engage you.
That's good.
And that part of it for me is part of what I enjoy.
And that's good. I enjoy it. That's part of the part of the experience is having the conversation.
Right.
Right. I mean, working in Wolfgang Puck's restaurants in Hawaii, man, like you meet lots of people. It's all about, you can change somebody's day with having a conversation. You can change. I love all that stuff, man. And I appreciate that. I guess for me, I worked at such a high level of service to not get service.
I got you.
Drives me nuts.
Yeah, I got it.
I can't do it.
And it doesn't matter where it comes from.
Yeah, it doesn't matter where it comes from. I can't do it. Like, I don't know. Anyway, we got way off topic.
It was back. Actually, no, I think we were still there because the whole Fuddruckers idea led us into this kind of this idea of being who we are, right?
Right.
And we want to be who we are, but being who we are comes with a price, right?
It does.
And it comes with a price that sometimes we're stereotyped into being this certain type of, you know, establishment. Because, you know, just talking about the Turkey Leg Hut, they got a lot of flack, you know, from the people now that had moved back into the area, which is crazy, right? You know, so now because they're here and because there's a line of black people out the door, you know, and they're successful. And now my parking spot on the street is no longer there because their customers are here. And the smoke, the turkey smoke. I never heard of turkey smoke.
Turkey smoke.
You know.
Messing everything up.
Messing everything up. But now the turkey smoke is messing me up. You know, now there's a big hoorah about it, right?
Right.
And I think that's the idea is that here we are, they're in their neighborhood, in their element, in historic Third Ward Houston, and have established a solid black presence. And that black presence can be a problem.
Yeah, it can be. It can be. And I guess it depends on how you look at it, man. I wish them all the best down there. And I wish that or hope that they continue to grow doing what they're doing and being successful doing what they're doing. And I hope that more people follow along, you know, or I hope people spread the wealth in that area as well. But that also shows, right, too, like that goes back to the power of that dollar and where you're choosing to spend it, right?
Right.
So, you know, hopefully this is not a one-off and it's not just they're not trying to capture lightning in a bottle again as they continue to go on. But it's just interesting, man. And with the whole, like, even with the whole Fuddruckers thing, I hope that it's taken the right way and not used to get headlines or used for an alternative purpose, and that whenever this does come back for whatever it is, that we vote with our dollars, you know, and go out there and push to try to make make that change and keep driving and moving that needle, if you will, to a better place.
Yeah, I think he has an opportunity to create something authentic, right? There's an opportunity right here, and it's his money and he's spent it the way he wants to spend it, right? And I'm grateful that he was in the position to be able to take whatever it was that was offered, right? Because at the end of the day, he still made a decision, a yes or no decision, right? And he had he was there and available to be able to do it. So that's a plus for me, right? Because there's something to learn from that when it comes down to economics.
Right.
When the opportunity came across the table, he was available and he could fully take advantage of it. So that's a great thing. So when we talk about money and we're talking about, assuring that we're at the right place at the right time when those opportunities come, I think that's the thing that we can hang our hat on and maybe we can learn from is what did he do to prepare to get to that place that when the opportunity came, he was able to capitalize on it.
And that's anybody. I mean, maybe not just him, because we might not want to do what he had to do.
Right. We don't know what that
we don't know what
entailed,
that thing
right?
was, right?
Right.
He might have sold his children. I don't know. But
just go out the deep end.
hey, you never know with these people, because the power of money is real. And people will do crazy things and things they said they would never do in order to get that step up, but that is what it's about. It's about being available. And what you said, like you saying that, is huge, because a lot of people now, a lot of kids coming up, and not even kids coming up, people in their mid 20s, 30s, 40, 50s even, aren't available to do it. They're not even available to put new tires on their car if they need to, right? And why is that? And that's a thing that a lot of people don't really touch on, is that we spend more money consuming and less money preparing, so that we can be available when these opportunities arise, and it's hard, because it always is hard to tell people what to do with their money, and it just seems, when I have conversations with people, a lot of the times the conversation is just going into what's the next thing they're gonna buy, and it's less about what can they do in the future. And some people say, you can't take it with you. Well, yeah, you can't, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't prepare.
Because even in the preparation, there's a generation behind you, right?
Exactly.
Even if you don't have kids, or there's something that you can support that'll strengthen moving forward, right? And so, that's that generational wealth idea. We have to do something now, because if all we're doing is just going buying and buying and buying and buying and buying, then we don't have anything to show for it. There's nothing of value there. When you're dead and gone, they still doing a fundraiser for your funeral, because none of this stuff helps.
They don't want none of your furniture, your plates,
they're not taking none
trash,
of that.
It's terrible, and it just makes me wonder. And I was thinking, because when we talked about doing this concept and having this conversation, and I want people, and I know that it's hard because you tell people to do it, and I know that most of them won't, but the people that are really open-minded or thinking, I would implore them, if they are at home or if they're not at home, go home and do a mental or physical, whatever you want, tally of waste in your home. And what I mean by waste is all the things that you just had to have, or the things that you just bought because that you haven't touched in months. Not the things you use every day, but the things you haven't touched in months. Right? Did you need that $700 painting or $1,000 painting that you don't even dust anymore, and you don't look at, and it's just
it's just there.
And count up how much money that is. And then think about where you are financially in life, and where would you be if you had all that money back. And when I did it for me,
so okay, you did it. What was your next step?
I shut down buying everything. Because I'm extreme. I'm always extremely one side or extreme to the other.
But there's no middle.
When I did it, man, it was so eye-opening, but also depressing, because I think about the times where I was struggling, right? Or I needed to get money for this, or I need to get money for that, and I look at all the thousands and thousands of dollars of waste that I'm not even touching.
Yeah.
That's just there for atmosphere. And you know what? If it wasn't sitting on that shelf right there, my life wouldn't be any different. I mean, it would be better because I'd have that money in my
You'd
pocket.
have it,
right? But it's just the waste, you know. And I go back and I always reference it to like, and we kind of talked before about, you know, like luxury items and stuff like that. When I was growing up and I was younger, that's when it kind of hit me at first, and then I lost sight of that and I'm refocused again. But I came into the money working in the restaurants, and I had, you know, that and whatever, but I was blowing it on these luxury items because I felt that's what you do to show you got a little bit of money, because that's what we think, right?
And I think the word you said is to show. That's really for somebody else.
Exactly.
Because at the end of the day, if I know I have it, who cares if you know I have it, right?
Exactly.
But yeah, we do that to show somebody else that we're in this certain bracket.
Right, and that's what's so frustrating, right? Because I think we talked about another podcast, right? You have the poor people that can't afford anything. You have the decently poor that overspend to try to look like the people, right? Then you have the millionaires that buy things to look like money, and then you have the billionaires that have it all, that don't have none of that because they don't care,
and they buy from Target.
And they buy from Target, right? and that's the thing is that I thought that's what you had to do. I thought when you came into money, you need $1,000 sunglasses and $500.
You got to spend all of your time in the Galleria.
All of it.
River Oaks district.
Just bags.
Yeah.
And then it hit me because as those things would pile up, like legitimately, man, like I couldn't tell you, I had more men's Louis Vuitton wallets than I know what to do with. You got the monogram, the LV, the black leather, the whatever, and all these things were like $500-$600 a piece at that time.
Right.
I don't even think I had $500 in the bank at that. Right, but
what did you have in the wallet? The wallet had the wallet cost more than what you had in your bank.
Air,
right,
and maybe a debit card that had no money. But the thing about it is that I had all these things, and I'm like,
and bro,
you only carry one.
Who was going to see the wallet?
If for that split second when
that you pulled it out at
your
the counter
pocket to try to split your payment up between 3 cards.
Okay, there's 10 on this,
right? 10 on this one. But goddamn, you gonna know. You gonna know. I dropped $600 on this wallet.
Right.
And but you know, I was like 18 at that time.
No, I get you. I get it.
And no, if I could go back, I whoop my ass for wasting stupid money. But the same thing with sunglasses. I had a sunglass guy. A sunglass guy at 18 years old. Who the hell has a son who would call me
when the new stuff came out?
And I'm not gonna lie, it felt great.
Yeah, no. So that availability, I mean, it you know, you sit up straight when your dude, when your plug calls you and tells you, hey, I got this new thing. I mean, it's something that it triggers you to try to find that cash, man.
Ooh, it
I
does,
that.
man. And I think maybe that's the allure of it. I don't know, because I'm not gonna lie, man. Like I would get the white. I would go. He had a store in the mall. It was a high-end mall, but I would get to go there. I would get in before the store would open.
Course.
Everything was laid out on the.
He prepared them for you.
Dude,
he was the best salesman ever.
He was. He took. I mean, he was smart because he took all my damn money. You know, but man, the Cartiers.
The first pair you bought, he saw that wallet come out. And when he pictured the wallet, he's like, he got some money.
He didn't know I was in the red. I was negative and everything.
So right?
Well,
we put it into a lot of things that won't bring us a return, right? And I know that's one of the things that I've been looking at here lately. And I'm 40, right? And now it's kicking in. But these aren't things that we were taught. These aren't things that matriculate through our culture. It's really not anything that we are historically that we know about, right? And so if we don't figure it out kind of be in situations where people introduce us to something new, then we never get it, man. And so now, I mean, life insurance and what that can do over time and all of those kind of things. And can you take $200 that you were going to throw away and put into a life insurance policy that is going to pay out $600,000 and build generational wealth later? But now we want it today. And I think that's the problem. No, give me that $200 because I my plug just called me and I need to go.
I need that $200.
Yeah,
I need those new Nike Dunks, man. And I mean, it's all relative. And I said this is a money episode, but this is a good conversation because these are things that people need to hear, and these things that a lot of people don't really think about. To stop, rethink, and recess, right?
Yeah.
We start with Fuddruckers and what's he gonna do and what's he gonna do with it and what's his plan, whatever. This is a man that hopefully has thought about it, but how does that work for all of us? We all need to just reassess and see, what do we want to do? What are we going to do to change the way, change perspective, take something old, turn it into something new, create something different, and make those financial moves within ourselves. And how do we even begin, and how do we start to get there? And that's why it has to be an ongoing conversation, right?
Yeah.
Because anybody we can sit here and say, do this, do that, do this, do that. But it starts down in the minutia of things. Minutia? I don't know, where the hell did I even get that word from?
It fit.
I know, but still, I don't use words like that. That's weird.
Yes, you do, clearly.
But jumping down into those
the minutia,
the small, minor, little tiny details, right?
You defined it.
Right. Little tiny details of things, because not everybody starts with even $200. Right. And so what do you do? What do you do when you only have 10? Or
put
20
it up,
or 30.
Yeah. We get caught up there, man. I think we get caught up in it not being enough, right? But $10 that you started when you were 18 is crazy right now, right? Even if you never put it into anything else but a savings account, the amount of money that you would have now is a lot more than what you had when you were there. Whether it was $10, $5, $1 a day, whatever it was, right? We get the Sally Struthers commercial where they can feed kids for
a whole dollar.
A whole dollar.
Which I never understood how you get 7 meals out of $1. But
where are these meals at? Because we need them. Because I'm not spending that at HEB. I'm not getting 7 meals out of $1 at HEB. So where are you shopping, ma'am?
Yeah.
Sally, give us the plug.
White rice. They get white rice every day. I don't know what it is, but yeah, it's $1. I always wondered that myself. But yeah, that's the thing, right? Is that put it up, but then it turns into, well, where do you put it? What do I do? And it's sad that a lot of people don't have that knowledge, and that's what we need to, I guess, push through or need to spread. And I guess it comes to paying it forward, and even taking it back to this Fuddruckers gentleman. I hope that he pays it forward. Because he's obviously allowing people to write these stories about him, say the things that they are saying about him. He knows what he's doing, but I hope that he pays it forward to the people that are coming up underneath him. Because that's, and maybe that's just me being hopeful, because that's what I want to try to do for everybody is to pay it forward. If I get it, I'm gonna push it forward in that. Not all of it, because I need to pay my bills, but But push it forward to the next person, because you only need so much, and we've been going about things one way for so long, and we haven't really had an opportunity to change the game. This guy has an opportunity to change the game.
He does. He has a huge opportunity.
Huge platform.
Yep.
To do something that nobody in recent history has been able to do.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of chefs out there that have multiple restaurants of different names. There's a lot of national chains, but they're not owned, obviously, by anybody of color, right? To that sense. His next moves, even as small as that story was and didn't make super big headlines, his next moves can be monumental.
Yeah. Is he the next Frittata? You know what I'm saying? That can, even though I think the restaurants tank when they buy them, but nevertheless, you know what I'm saying? To build that type of brand, but not for the sake of saying I'm the next Frittata, but saying this is who I am, this is who I represent, and then let's go. You know what I'm saying? And I think if we stop trying to measure up to everybody else's kind of goalpost or their starting line, we can be so much further ahead because we feel like we've made it when we reach that. But that may not be our point. Our point may be way over here, right? But I think we use that as a I've made it idea.
Right. So I guess let me ask this here. If you, whatever his name is, God, I feel so bad that we don't remember his name. We'll call him Mr. Fuddrucker now because he has it all. Mr. Fudd. All right. So if you could speak to Mr. Fudd right now, what would you tell him, and B, what would you hope that he would do with this new platform?
What would I tell him? I think I would ask him a question initially, and I would ask him, one, how did he get to the place where he was ready? Because I want to know what did you do to prepare yourself to get to this point? Okay, and then after answering that question, what I would like to say is, based on what you did, can you share that with the rest, somebody else? You know what I'm saying? Because it's the success of it is that you were there, you were available, what we said earlier, and that at the moment when the door was open, you were able to walk through it with a check in your hand. So teach me how you did that. Show me the steps, like a 3-year-old, how you got to that point. You know what I'm saying? And so that when all is said and done, I got it, right?
Yeah.
You know, and that's really all that I would ask of him. Is because your business, you're gonna run your business, and you're gonna establish it the way you want to establish it. And I pray Godspeed helps you through the whole process, right?
Serving them dry ass burgers.
What I'm hoping you change that up too. But nevertheless, I'll give you that feedback. Just don't be another Fuddrucker. Be something different. Right. You have an opportunity to be great and be something different. But show me how you got there, because if you teach me how to fish, I can eat for the rest of my life.
Exactly.
Don't give me fish.
Teach me how to fish.
Teach me how to fish.
I think that's a good thing, man, and I would agree with you. That would be right along the lines of exactly what I wanted to do, or what I would ask of him, right? And I think that sometimes, maybe because people just see the success and they hit them up, and they're always going to hit up for money and not necessarily always information, they kind of shy away from it. But even here in like Houston, as we drive around and stuff, man, I wish, like I would just, yesterday I was driving around, I seen this man, SVJ Lamborghini, terrible car, Lamborghinis overheat and whatever, but they are eye catching. But I just seen him, man, and I wish that he would just pull over so I could just ask, how'd you get there? What'd you do? Not because I want anything from you, not because I want money from you, not because I want a job, not anything like, to be able to have that conversation and just really see, like, how did you make it, man? Yep. You know?
Yep. And you know what? I have an assignment that I'm going to take on.
All right, let's hear it.
I'm going to contact Mr. Fudd.
Oh boy.
I'm going to contact Mr. Fudd. I'm going to see if I can email him or whatever it is. And I'm going to ask the question I just asked. And we're going to see what we get.
Hopefully you will also ask Mr. Fudd if he will do a call-in podcast recording episode.
Well, let's see if we can set one up in one of the new Fuddruckers with Mr. Fudd.
With Mr. Fudd.
We'll do a location.
That would be awesome.
We got an assignment. I got an
assignment.
Because it's one thing to say what we wish, but I think it's another thing to pull the trigger on it.
And actually do it.
And let's do it, right? Let's do something different than what we've always done. And we have these, I got this huge vision board and goals and all of this crap and books and, you know, and at the end of the day, what have I done to move to the next step or get the knowledge that I need to get to the next step, to be prepared to walk through the door. And so I'm at the point now where I'm ready to walk through the door, man.
Hey, and let's leave it right there. We'll leave it right there, walking through the door, pulling the trigger, and Mr. Fudd coming soon.
We coming.
Coming soon. Let's get out of here.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. I'm ready to play now. Put me in the game now. I came here to to prove it, I'm ready to do it, I can't be afraid now. Put me on the stage now, I'm ready to rage now. I feel like an animal stuck in a cage and I'm ready to